Bitcoin finally broke this very important level that we've been talking about in my previous video. And guys, like I told you in my previous video, that we're most probably going to break out from the symmetrical triangle and reach our price target of $26,700. We perfectly hit our price target, and the price of Bitcoin went all the way up to the levels of $26,900. So guys, what could we expect? Are we going to see this fast move towards the upside? Like I told you in my previous video, in the immediate short term, that we're going to see the price movement of Bitcoin reach $30,000. Guys, we're going to look at the charts and we're going to find out why we saw this massive pump towards the upside. And yes, this is exactly the moment we've been waiting for, and it's finally here. So guys, we're going to look at the news and we're going to find out why we saw this massive pump towards the upside. And if you want to find out more, watch the video until the end, smash up the like button and subscribe, and most importantly, activate the bell so that you always stay up to date. Welcome back to B for Crypto, and yes guys, I hope you all are doing great, and we saw this massive pump towards the upside of 7.8% for Bitcoin. So what could we expect? Are we going to see this fast move in the immediate short term, or are we going to see that Bitcoin will first consolidate in these areas and then break towards the upside? Guys, we're going to look at the charts, but first we're going to look at the news, why we saw this massive pump towards the upside. And yes, the next banks are collapsing, First Republic Bank getting bailed out. So guys, yes, we can see the collapse of a lot of banks. US banks borrow a record amount from Fed in wake of SVB collapse. And yes, it started with SVB Bank, and now it's the First Republic Bank and also Credit Suisse in Europe. So guys, what could we expect? Fed money printing to go overboard. JP Morgan sees 2 trillion infusion into banking system amid central bank move to shore up liquidity. And yes guys, we're seeing that the Federal Reserve is printing a lot of money to keep all these banks afloat. So let's go over to the next article, and yes, here we can see during the COVID money printing episode, Bitcoin rallied from $3,000 all the way up to 69,000. What will it do this time? And yes guys, we can see that the Federal Reserve increased their balance sheet. And yes, let's go over to the next chart where we exactly can see what happened. And yes, we saw when the money printer was turned back on after this COVID dump, we saw that Bitcoin pumped all the way up with this bullish move towards the upside. And at the moment, yes, we can see on the Federal Reserve sheet that they're once again printing money. So we could expect that all the risk on assets will see a major pump towards the upside. Let's go back to the Genesis block, and yes, this is the raw hacks version of the Bitcoin Genesis block, the first Bitcoin block that has been mined by Satoshi Nakamoto. So in the Genesis block, we have this encryption that times the 3rd of Jan 2009, Chancellor of Brink of the second bailout of banks. And this was encrypted in the first block that ever has been mined from Bitcoin from Satoshi Nakamoto. And here we can see, here's the original newspaper, Chancellor of Brink of second bailout of banks. So what does it mean? Yes guys, Bitcoin was exactly created for this moment where all the banks will collapse and Bitcoin will be the safe haven. So this means that the Federal Reserve is printing money again and increasing their balance sheet. And this means guys that all the risk on assets, including Bitcoin, are going to see this massive move towards the upside because a lot of liquidity pours in all of these risk on assets. So we could expect a major pump for Bitcoin. And this is also what we can see on the daily chart, because yes, if we zoom out on the daily chart, then we can see that in this range where Bitcoin is trading at the moment, we have not a lot of liquidity. We have this support and also this resistance round about the levels of $29,000, but in between this level we can see there's not a lot of liquidity, and this means we could expect a fast move towards the upside for Bitcoin, reaching the levels of $30,000 maybe by the end of this week. So guys, let's go on the lower time frames on the 4-hour chart, and yes guys, on the 4-hour chart we can see that we perfectly hit this price target what I told you in my previous video that we're going to reach if we're going to break out from the symmetrical triangle, and we perfectly reached this price target. So guys, what could we expect? First of all, I think we are most probably going to see this fast move towards the upside and then a consolidation in these areas, maybe all the way down to the levels of 28,000. But guys, maybe we're going to see that Bitcoin will also most likely consolidate in these areas and coil up for the next move towards the upside. And guys, I'm going to trade this next move towards the upside. So if you want to trade these moves, make sure to go down in the video description below and sign up with my BITGET link to receive a massive deposit bonus of $5,000 And guys, make sure to be in my free Telegram group. And guys, we could expect this move towards the upside. And like I said, we're most probably going to see these two scenarios, but we could also expect that yes, Bitcoin will see a small retracement, maybe towards these levels. And let's take the Fibonacci retracement level and take them all the way from the bottom, from the swing low, all the way to the swing high. And yes, we could expect maybe that Bitcoin will see a small retracement all the way down to the 38.2. But guys, remember, I will keep you updated in my free Telegram group. And guys, if you like this short update, smash up the like button and subscribe, and make sure to be for crypto. And we see each other in the next video.